Crusader Kings 3. A game in which your playthrough usually lasts around 3 to 4 hours, if you don't pause at all, that is. In this video, I let the game run for 3 days, simulating thousands of years of human history if we never left the medieval age. Let's go take a look at the beginning powers and make some predictions. In 867, the Caroling dynasty has a strong grip over Western Europe, holding on to France, Germany, and Italy. The Andalusians still dominate over Iberia, and Eastern Europe is an absolute mess. The Vikings at this point are absolutely ravaging the Isles. The Middle East is largely consolidated by the Abbasids, with their biggest rival being the Byzantine Empire. The eastern half of the world is a decentralized mess, where anybody can come out on top. My predictions until 1453, which is when the game ends, includes the Carlings still existing as a powerful dynasty, the Muslims being kicked out of Iberia, and India being completely consolidated. I also predict that the Byzantines are going to be much weaker than they start at 867, and Asharism and Catholicism will be the predominant religions, with either Buddhism or Hinduism completely controlling India. Alright, without further ado, let's start. I kind of forgot that this was going on. I was doing something else and I was in another room, so we went past 1453 by quite a bit, but I doubt those few years mattered. I won't know if they actually did matter till I go back and look at the footage. I have no idea. I'm just guessing they didn't matter. So as you can see, the world is definitely not a pretty place in terms of borders. My first prediction was that the Carlings still exist. They do. They still have a ton of power, holding onto a huge chunk of Western Europe. They form the HRE, which I would say is a 50-50 chance of happening. Other than their vice grip on the HRE, I actually don't think they hold on to any valuable land. Let's sort this by military strength. They actually have a few other houses which are pretty high in troop count. They actually hold on to Francia down here, which doesn't control the majority of Francia, which is pretty funny. We have Alba here, also known as Britannia. They had absolutely beautiful borders for a very, very long time, until this kingdom down here took it from them. This kid's house ruined absolutely everything. Denmark's borders are absolutely hideous and disgusting, and Poland's borders are beautiful as hell. It's an empire title, which is a pretty interesting choice. Instead of forming Westlavia, he said screw that and formed Poland instead. He has a ton of troops. The White Horde exists, which is really just Hungary, Croatia, and Bulgaria, united under one banner. Venice is doing Venice things over here. And Serbia owns Constantinople. And from taking a look at this, we can see that Tengrism actually reformed as a faith, which is extremely rare. This happens max once every 50 games. The Maghreb is actually Catholic, and everybody else in Western Africa really doesn't stand out besides Guinea. Nobody stands out in Eastern Africa either besides a massive Egypt, a failing rump state of the Abbasids, and this huge Tengri nation in Jazeera. And then, of course, like I said, we got that huge Indian person. So going off my prediction list, I said that the Muslims would have been kicked out of Iberia. They basically are kicked out of Iberia. There is only one Muslim person I found still on the peninsula. They still do exist in Iberia, so I guess that's an X on my checklist. I said that India would be consolidated. This is pretty consolidated to me, so this is a check mark for me. And I also said that the Byzantines would be weaker than their start. They definitely are weaker than their start, considering that they don't exist anymore. They are definitely weaker. And I said that Asharism and Catholicism would dominate the world. That's actually not what happened in the save. Catholicism dominates, but Asharism is probably in a three-way tie between Tengrism. I could actually check here. Do this, go by counties. And yeah, they're pretty neck and neck in terms of counties. That's definitely an interesting revelation. I guess the next time I'll see you guys is 4 p.m. tomorrow. I'm expecting absolutely nothing you see right now to still exist. We'll see. It's been one full day since I started this, and the world's definitely a different place from when I stopped it 4 hours in. It's really just unrecognizable. So taking a look around at everyone, taking a look at everybody, you might think that the Muslims dominate this half of the world just based on the last names and that their clan structures. But no, it's actually just Hindus. The Hindus somehow beat the Muslims in the battle for the East, and they're really just gone now. They're still in Nubia, which is a pretty interesting spot. I'm pretty sure at some point they were owned by the Catholics. You can see that they were owned by the Hindus, and now they're owned by the Muslims, which is pretty interesting. You can see that in Arabia, the house here is actually a part of the Carling dynasty. Let's go through history and see why they would even convert. Okay, so it's recent, at least in the terms of things. That kid lived to be 101, Jesus Christ. The Tulunid dynasty is split in two, with half of their house being Muslim, half of their house being Coptic. Obviously, the Coptic branch is much, much stronger than the Muslim branch. And as you can see also, everybody's getting to that point where everybody has a trait. Just basically every single person is maxed out on super good traits. Galicia is owned by House Zur. Pretty cool flag. Here's a Carling house. Here's a Carling house. This is a new house. House Dornoch. What is this? Saxo-Anglo-Saxon. That's pretty cursed. Scandinavia looks good if you ignore Stockholm missing from them. The Empire of Poland fell apart, but it's back now under a Carling. The Baltic Empire is doing Baltic Empire things. Russia's here, and it's owned by a Tulunid also. Russia's gotta be one of the most rarest empires that actually form in this game. It barely ever happens. The Isgil Empire is a custom empire. And then of course you got the super states and him and him. I guess I don't have much to talk about in religions anymore. My prediction regarding this is that the Hindus are probably gonna win the battle here. They might not convert everybody, but they're gonna have a huge county advantage compared to the Catholics at the end of this. The Catholics don't even hold on to Jerusalem either, so they're definitely falling behind. But yeah, if nothing interesting happens, I'm just gonna go till the next day. I'll see you there. It's 407 again for me, and the world is definitely a lot more consolidated. But to be honest, I'm pretty surprised that it isn't more consolidated. Everybody here probably has primogeniture, if I'm willing to bet. Let's see. He has primogeniture. He has primogeniture. The only realm that doesn't have primogeniture is the HRE, who still has princely elective as their law, which is pretty interesting. I would say that out of everybody, the HRE is probably the most stable. I don't think they've had any major collapses or anything. They've just been surviving pretty good this entire time. Poland's doing their 5th invasion of this kingdom here, though, which they probably aren't going to win, if I'm being honest. Almost 1 million manpower, holy crap. If you guys guessed, the world is basically 100% development everywhere, besides basically all the stranded islands like these, Bornholm, Malta. Just for some reason they aren't developing them. The Tulunids have got to have the greatest comeback story so far in this game. They lost their starting position in Egypt, migrated to around here, I think, and have just scratched and clawed and somehow made it out on the other side. The dynasty that fell into the new Byzantine Empire that existed but fell apart still exists in Cyprus, and that dynasty is actually a part of the Tulunids also. And as you can see, the Carlings still hold on to power somehow. They migrated from the west to the east, and they're in constant wars with the HRE apparently. This little Persian kingdom here is recently consolidated up. This Indian one's been there for a long time, and they're fighting against the HRE too, for a holy war. If Poland didn't declare, the HRE would have this in the bag, but Poland just ruined it for them. And then we have this dynasty up here, and Mongolia is super unconsolidated. Chagatai at one point was an absolutely massive kingdom that held on to the majority of this side of the map. And I just saw this too. Kingdom of Catholic Calm. They went for a one province kingdom? Well, why does this even exist? It was obviously a Crusader state, but why would you go after that and not Jerusalem, Syria, basically anywhere that's closer to you? But no, calm will do. Coptic is definitely taking over Catholicism here. They're really just taking each other out. And in cultures, everything is an absolute mess. Where to even start with this many cultures? There's gotta be at least 500, 400 cultures on the map. Bari is by far the biggest culture though on the map, just in terms of size. Look at that. The Saxo-Anglo-Saxons are still here though, so good for them. But yeah, kingdoms are an absolute mess. Look at how hideous this is. Look at Finland's borders, Sweden's borders, Germany. Oh my god, it's horrible. It is so bad. I'm pretty sure we did see an independent Kingdom of Naples at one point in this game. I just didn't point it out for some reason, but it's still there. And empire titles aren't much better, but the HRE is absolutely massive. This has got to be the biggest empire I've ever seen on the map. Holy crap. That's really everything, so I guess I'll see you guys at 4 p.m. tomorrow. It's the final day, and here we are. So, on the map, you might be kind of weirded out just based on how strange everything is. Like, why is this guy so spread apart? And why is he so far from where he should have been over in India from the last save? Well, there's only one faith on the map now. There, of course, are pockets of heresy, but obviously those don't really matter. This random Jain faith came out of literally nowhere. It had like 0 provinces last time I checked in, and that was the #1 faith in the world. I don't know how this happened. I don't know why the Catholic guys converted to it, why the Coptic guy converted to it, why the rest of the Indian guys converted to it. I just have no idea why that happened, but it did happen, and it's a timeline that everybody's living in 3167 in this timeline, apparently. Taking a look at the biggest guy on the map, and by far the most impressive person, we have the Akan Empire, and the Tulanids have got to be the MVP for this game. Their struggle and then their greatness is honestly probably the most surprising thing I've seen. Over 8,000 members in their house, holy crap. And I was wondering why it was so laggy. That's probably why. The Carlings have almost 10k people. That's insanity. And over 181 houses. The Akan Empire is well over 1 million troops at this point. Almost 1.5 million. They were in the process of attacking for a kingdom down here. We then, of course, have this house over here, which I don't know why they're this empire. I'm pretty sure this empire starts out down here in vanilla. The Yuns, which are this Indian house over here, are in the process of dying to Akan. If I let this run for longer, I have no doubts that Akan would probably consolidate the entire world. We have Moldavia over here, and they were actually dying. So if I let this run for 30 more minutes, there would be no independent Carlings in the game. And Akan would be quite a bit larger in size. And then, of course, we have India, which literally doesn't own basically anything in modern-day India. Bengal, Burma, Tibet, and then there's Russia and Mongolia up here. And then we have the Ilkhanate down here. The kingdom map is definitely cursed. The kingdom of Sicily consists of Sardinia and Tunis, and Sardinia consists of Northern Africa. Wallachia is super tiny. It's just a duchy title. I could go on for 20 minutes talking about this. This is horrible. And in the Empire titles, Akan actually didn't grow that much. They expanded a bit, sure, but not nearly as much as I thought they would. I'll admit I was pretty sad when the Polish Empire fell, but they're really a part of something better now here. Abyssinia has amazing borders, look at that, that's amazing. Scandinavia is probably the most normal empire on the entire map. In looks, everybody else is absolutely disgusting. Look at all these legends. How many are there? Like 11 legends just in this one spot. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And then, of course, max dev everywhere, basically. I swear this one had around 30 last time I saw it. How did it decrease so much in dev? Yeah, every single place is 100 dev besides Malta, these islands, in Bornholm. Cultures is a super good way to get eye strain. Does anybody stand out? Probably, but I won't be able to see them. Because basically every single county has a different culture. Andaluso Tunisian's a pretty rare one. So is Andaluso Danish. You have Vespo Butur, I'm guessing is how you say that one. Russian is tiny. They are so tiny. But yeah, this is what happens if you leave CK3 running for 3 days. Let me know if you have any other ideas for videos, and thank you for watching.